I drive like Uber. On the road like the runner bee. These coyotes can't catch up with me. Got these heads blowing like TNT. I gotta drive like Uber. Yeah, all these lions in this pride with me. Hunting on the daily cause the dream ain't free. Gotta get it now, time to wait for me. I gotta drive like Uber.
All right. We're back with another episode of the Dinner Club Podcast. I'm your host with the most, Lionel Walker. Got my co-host Tyson in the building, man.
What's up?
If y'all just knew what we went through.
Yeah.
We was not gonna be on BB time today, all right?
No, sir.
All you good people out there doing, man, we just want to welcome you back for another episode. We got a lot of great stuff going on. First off, we want to make an announcement. I'm going to let Tyson talk to you guys a little bit while I pull up some stuff. We got a great announcement to make today.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, this weekend's been crazy. This time period has been crazy. We hear about all of the, negative stuff that's happening. We hear that, people are staying away from each other, that people are lashing out at each other. But, I'm always happy when we can share some good stuff that's happening, especially when it's directly impacting our community and directly impacting the work that we do in the community. Hey, without further ado, let's get the people the news that they have been anxiously waiting for. What's happening?
So first things first, let's get into a personal topic for us. Hold on, people. So I don't know if you understood what was going on, but we went through a situation recently where our flag was removed from our business property. It's a Pan-African flag. It represents our culture, our true roots, and our heritage. So one big accomplishment today is that we got our flag back up at our business. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. Big, clap it up for that, man. We work real hard. I don't know why anybody would try to disrespect our business and what we do, because even though we represent and appreciate our Black African roots, we also represent all people, period. You understand what I'm saying? We appreciate everyone's culture, from the Madeira feast to the CV festival to Chinese New Year, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Day,
exactly. St. Patrick's Day, whatever. You know what I'm saying? If it's Viking Day, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We're all about representing all people and all the beautiful diversity that we have as human beings. So please, keep an eye out. You know what I'm saying? Our flag is back up. We got security cameras up. Try me. I will be there ASAP. That shit goes straight to my phone. Don't make me kick your ass, all right? But anyway, let me pull this up on the screen real quick. It's pretty dope, man, that we're back out there. Me and my man Ty out here. Another thing, too, is just to show people how we are making sure that we practice what we preach as far as keeping ourselves social distancing and stuff like that. So big shout out to us, man, getting back into the midst of all the work that we do, man. It's a big deal for us. It's a sense of pride to see that flag hanging downtown. You know what I'm saying? It's a sense of pride for us to be a part of the community and to be able to do what we do. So again, this is a big deal to us, man. You can't take that from us, man, at all. It's, seeing that flag wave in the air, when so many people talk about they're down with the cause, et cetera, well, it makes a big difference on whether or not you actually care about us having a flag that represents ourselves as well. So shout out to us for that. But let's get to some other stuff, man. Listen, this one's a big deal, people. Woo!
Huge.
So listen, we were awarded, Third Eye, our family that we work with in the community, you know what I'm saying? We were awarded the New Bedford Creative Awards from Third Eye Unlimited, the first ever Art is Everywhere grant, man. We were awarded $50,000 event. Essentially, we were supposed to be doing some stuff in the community as far as physical events and spaces, but in light of COVID, we found a way to still galvanize the people and still keep this thing going in place by being able to bring everybody together in a virtual space until further notice and be able to provide the same quality content that we would have provided to you in person. So it's a big deal, big deal. And I just want to say, thank you, Amanda, so much. I just want to say one thing, as a person of color who basically came into the community from outside, transplanted to this community. I want people to understand that, because there's a narrative out here that's painted a lot about whether or not you're from here or not. It shouldn't matter. What we should care about is the quality of people that we have residing here, period. You understand what I'm saying? And one of the things is that I was not as a quality person in my original environment as I am to this environment.
Likewise.
So I want to make sure that that's completely understood here. It took a lot of hard work and it took a lot of dedication to turn myself around. And I want to thank New Bedford for providing me that space and that restart to do so. But I also want to make it very clear that we work very hard to make sure that we maintain that reputation of being people that aren't from here, but brought value to here. And I think this is one of those moments in my personal life that has cemented that for us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Tyson, talk about how you feel about it, man, and then we'll get into some more of the details.
I mean, yeah, and I want to point out the fact that we continue to do it regardless of what we have to face, what we have to go through, who we have to have uncomfortable conversations with. We're going to do what we feel and what we believe is best moving forward, right? It's always about taking whatever's going on in the present, respecting some of what happened in the past, and taking the best parts of that in order to provide a better future for not just us and not just our families and our kids, but also the people that are around us, the people that are in this city, so that more opportunities can open up and they can find more avenues to progress into the future, and finding successes in whatever it is that they believe they want to accomplish in life. And so I just have to say, I'm super proud, pumped that I got to be a part of the grant writing process, a part of the planning process, you being the first ever project manager of this, me being the first ever technical director for this, and just putting our skill sets to use in a huge public eye and public way. Obviously, thank you, New Bedford Creative, the Bar Foundation, TDI Mass Development. Thank you to everyone who was a part of that. Margot, Carrie, Lisa,
Lori,
Samia,
so
Lori,
Mandy, Amanda, all the Most Crew, Junior, Monica, big time.
If you were at any of the 3E Pride events for the past year and a half, thank you. If you were at the Open, thank you. If you ever shared an event, like the post from Peter, myself, Third Eye, any John Cox, Medium Studio, just any activity that you contributed to that. If you were on your head spinning at an event, guess what? Thank you. Because this all culminated in what we're doing right now and what we're putting on for the community, and hoping that everyone will participate, enjoy, share, and make this thing bigger and better every single time you see it.
I don't want to get sentimental or nothing, man, but I just have to really express, I don't think I came the longest way, man. I was knee deep in the streets. I was a womanizer. I wasn't taking care of my sons, you know what I'm saying? The way I took care of them, as far as I thought buying them things and going to the park was just all it took to be a father. And I wasn't thinking about how I was treating, women as notches on my belt. So as a person who literally has been teaching through my mistakes and teaching through all the things that I went through, and not just preaching from a perch of where I'm at now, I think it's extremely important that people continue to understand that no matter what, you have to find your retribution your own way. Sometimes society won't give you what you want as far as your retribution, but you can continue to carry on and move in a manner that your actions speak louder than anything else. Right. There's people that still question me to this day. I question myself every day, so I don't blame people for questioning me every day. Sometimes I gotta pinch myself to make sure this is really me. You know what I'm saying? But again, we're extremely proud. We're extremely, extremely proud to be able to provide this opportunity. Again, we want to thank the Cox, Mary, John, and Kerry. We want to thank all the people in the community. So many people. I want to thank Jinder Barrows. Somebody who held the torch for us, and she's one of the people who brought me in initially. Period. Right. You know what I'm saying? Seeing that strong woman sitting in that position of power, and understanding she kind of came from where I came from too, as far as a certain end of that cloth. It really galvanized me. I want to thank Jay Malin. Jay Malin was also here. Jay Malin Gordon on Facebook was also here, holding it down during that time. I want to thank Frank Barrows. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank Manny DeBreno. You know what I'm saying? These are important people that were making sure that they have the basketball portion of everything going on and the activity going on, and they're still active in the community now, as far as working with Tyson on the Vote New Bedford initiative. Again, just working with A's Before J's, and mainly it's just, I cannot express enough that, it feels surreal some days. I don't want to turn this into a whole trophy party about us, but this is a big deal, people. It's extremely big deal.
It's the first ever. You know what I mean? This is that right there. In and of itself, even if it wasn't us, is a big deal for New Bedford as a city. The fact that it is us, I just want people to understand that we have 29 community partners that are going to be a part of this, because we didn't just look out for ourselves. We said, who else in the community is doing work and has something to offer and bring to the table, and how do we make sure that they're plugged in even if they don't get this grant? How do we make sure that they still get to share in the reward of impacting their community in a way that they believe is meaningful, in a way that we respect? So again, as much as we're sitting here, yes, it is about us, but when we say us, we literally mean it is about every single one of us in the community. And this might come as a surprise, but I even want to thank Mayor Mitchell. I want to thank him for allowing us to move the Open downtown, to make it a centerpiece downtown. All right, for the work done with the national parks, right? Because that was part of the initiative there, making sure that the national park had more support. So every person, whether you like them or not, I want people to realize, whether you like them or not, they played a role in this being able to be accomplished in this city. Whether you agree with them or not, they played a role in order for this to be accomplished in the city. So everyone was important for this to happen, and you have to put it together for yourselves. You know what I mean? Clap that up. Give each other some love. You know what I mean?
And listen, like, a lot of people misconstrue the fact that sometimes, okay, it's natural that we get into a space when we're trying to do the same thing, it's become a little competitive. Mm-hmm. But outside of that space, we have to understand that we have a common ground. I don't believe at all that Mitchell doesn't want to provide the access and the means to people in the community to better themselves. I believe that sometimes, coming from the background he comes from, you just don't know how to apply the tools that community, a sector of the community, needs. Right. And I believe that Tyson is on the other side of the ball, where he has the same vision of helping those people get to where they need to, but he comes from that side of the cloth and he knows exactly what they need. And this is the perfect time for us because the passing of the torch is going to happen eventually. And listen, we're not in campaign season right now, but I can't campaign for anybody that I know better that came from out here and committed this. I mean, the guy bought a house out here immediately to be able to create impact. And, you know, he's raising his son here. You know what I'm saying? Right. He's with the mother of his child here. You know what I'm saying? Right. He's got other family members inside the house here to benefit the community. So I think that we all have the same goals in mind. It's just about coming to the same table to be able to do what we do, you know, in the most effective way for everybody, for all of us. Mm-hmm. I have to say, like, and I mean this humbly, you know what I'm saying? I do not pull my, you know, hat that much, you know what I'm saying? I've done a lot in music and everything like that. Mm-hmm. None of that matters to me. Like, this really means so much to me to be a part of the fabric of the history of what's going on out here. I made history in Boston when I became the first Black senior manager to work at, you know, to work accounts at 5 prestigious colleges, from Berklee College of Music all the way down to Newberry College. But it was different from where I'm at now, because I made mistakes in between that time, and I dropped down from that paramount where I was at in my life, and then I made this slow, steady climb back to existence of being another person in the limelight to make history here. Like, I'm the first project manager of Art is Everywhere. Of the first Art is Everywhere. Like, my mind is completely blown by that, and I cannot thank the people that are in position. I mean, listen, nothing comes without contention. We've had hard days, we've had harder days, we've had the hardest days, but no matter what, we pull through those days together. You know, one of my main things is always saying to people is that no matter what, I can agree to disagree without losing any respect whatsoever, and I can also do so without walking away from the table. And I need some people that are from here to understand that is the most effective approach that you take. You might disagree, but stay at the table long enough to make your disagreements heard and make them be valid enough for people to consider. Because just throwing your hands up and walking away doesn't get the problem solved. It doesn't change anything for our community as a collective. So again, humbly, New Bedford, I want to thank you very much. All the people that were involved, for giving me the ability to be the project director of this, for having Tyson here at the right time and being the technical director of this, for having Mandy Frazier out here doing her 1-2, being the visual curator of all the arts that's going to be taking place, from Junior to doing his 1-2 as far as being our host for the event, from Lisa doing an amazing job making sure all the paperwork's together to get the grant done and making sure we look great, from all the youth that's involved, from, again, like, Amanda is always at the meetings. Darnell's always at the meetings, and these meetings are open. Like, people have to understand something. Like, there's no secret society here. You know, there's a common misconception, and I had to figure that out myself when I first came here, that there's nothing holding people at each other from helping each other grow in this space or having a seat at this table. We don't care. And I think that, you know, I want to take some credit for changing that culture a little bit as far as like agreeing to disagree and remaining at the table. Like I have to, because it took that. Listen, I'm a pain in the ass to a lot of people out here in the channels that make calls. But the one thing that they respect is that I'm a respectful pain in the ass. Meaning, I'm not going to shred you and go publicly demoralize you because of one thing that I disagree with you. I'm going to sit down and convene in a way where we can get through this. You know what I'm saying? Together. Or you just let me know if you're not trying to convene at all that you are what you are. You are a stick. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, for lack of a better term. And again, people have to understand too, like, I'm me regardless. You know, I just changed my rating system based on the condition that I'm in, but I'm me regardless. On the Dinner Club podcast, we let it go a little bit. We have fun here. We're adults. This is an adult space. But we're also, you know, so again, we're sharing this for the adults in the community to enjoy the show. You know what I'm saying? Again, like, we're going to have so much more announcements going on. We're going to have so much more information to go alongside this. We cannot express our appreciation enough. And we're honored, truly honored, to be able to bring this to the community and to be able to put this on for all of you, of you, every single corner of this city and beyond, because now it's in the virtual space and more people can be enriched by what we do here. We told you that we are going to be the people that are going to help. You know, New Bedford lit the way one time at one point in time, and that dimmed a little bit, but we're going to be the ones that help carry that torch and light the fire even harder, even harder over the entire area. So.
And I want to stress the theme is your New Bedford. It's your New Bedford. So that's why this is so important that everyone understands that this is for everybody. If you're from here, if you transplanted here, if you just got here last week and moved in, if you have a friend that lives here, this is your New Bedford, a place where everyone can come and get involved and improve the community if you have the soul, heart, and spirit to do so. So don't forget that and let's rock on, man.
And we also need you to understand something else, right? There's a kind of I don't know what the fear is about being in your own downtown, but you should be in your downtown. That's why we're fighting to provide our communal space and have a gathering at 246. That's why we didn't let something as simple as tearing our flag down demoralize us and stop us from having a space down there. And you can do it again. We're going to put the flag right back up. Nothing's going to stop us from claiming our space and our territory in the downtown area. And we also have that attitude. There should be every single walk of life in this community having a placeholder downtown. So that's what this is all about, making sure that we come together and that we actually utilize our downtown area to make our businesses thrive when everything loosens back up. It's your New Bedford, you know, yours, all of yours. You understand what I'm saying? We can't just, I don't want to blame one area for only having certain things segmented if the other areas are reluctant to take on that action. Stop talking about it. We got to be doers, and I think that's what we try to exemplify. That we're going to do more. We're going to do more than we talk about. You know what I'm saying? We didn't even talk about this. Nobody knew that this was coming. You know what I'm saying? But when we found, and we've had to be hush for a while, people. We had to be major hush. Months. But you know what? We're here. You're here. Let's make the best of this. You know, we're definitely focusing on the social distancing. We're focusing on mental health. We're focusing on helping people transition. You know, Junior just threw a dope event this past Saturday. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We helped him put that together. He threw a dope, super dope event with dancers, and you know, they played a game of break. You know, mimicking each other's moves like a game of horse, but in break dance. And again, we're just blessed, man. I'm going to bring up some of these other events that we have going on. You know, Tyson, you can warm them up a little bit while I bring some of these up.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, here's the thing, people. It doesn't stop here, and it doesn't start, and it didn't start here. So, though we have some new events coming in the pipeline, the artists everywhere. We also have our partnership with the National Park Services. So that event is going to be coming up in conjunction with VAHA, right? Virtual AHA, because they started taking it online. Again, not letting social distancing stop people from finding a way to connect and congregate, right? So that's going to be going on May 14th. Okay, so that's a Thursday, between 3 p.m. and 4:30, and we've got 5 wonderful performers, that are going to be there, from poetry. We have Amanda with poetry. We have Ben Allen, the artist. He's going to be painting something live for us there. We have Nevaeh, she's a singer. We have Liv Brandon, she's a singer. We have Shania, who's a dancer. And again, it's in the spirit of the 5 pillars of hip hop, right? So we've got MCing, b-boying / b-girling, DJing, knowledge, and graffiti. And graffiti is obviously the art portion of it. So we want to make sure that we tap into each one of those to give you that experience of the spirit of hip hop.
And I need you to understand, like, we're sticking to the essence. We're going back to the essence. I've used the 5 pillars of hip hop through the entirety of my experience of throwing events. I've made sure each of those pillars are there. It was originally 4, but the 5th one was knowledge. So we always want to make sure that we slide some knowledge into our night. You know what I'm saying? You can enjoy yourself. You can have a great time. You can be entertained and learn something at the same time. You know what I'm saying? There's no need to act like you can't do that. Yes, Liv is fantastic. Mike, I appreciate you so much for tuning in, brother. Renee, you're usual. Thank you so much. And Amanda, you know what time it is, girl. We're about to kick it up a notch. So again, New Bedford Wayland National Historical Park presents the 5 pillars of hip hop. Now think about that. You can't say, again, if you stay at the table and you talk to these people and you get them to understand what we need to represent ourselves in this area without having the malice, because sometimes we take back old malice from old situations and we're bringing them to new light, and that's not needed. You know what I'm saying? We need to act, accordingly and move forward. Yes, Amanda does rule. She's awesome. So what we're doing is we're sticking to our roots. You understand what I'm saying? And we're going to make sure that we represent our people properly, and we're going to represent our culture properly. We're going to represent hip hop properly. But we also understand that hip hop, one of the strengths of hip hop and one of the strengths of, people of color in general is that we open our doors to everybody. And that's an important factor because that's how we actually maximize our potential to be a greater species of being. You know what I mean? Like, forget the arguments and forget the uncommonalities that we have. We have to focus on the commonalities that we have, like having souls and wanting to live and wanting to have dreams. You know what I'm saying? So we got to focus on that kind of stuff. So this is one of those dope series that we got coming up. And I'm going to give them a little sneak peek of the 15th. You can talk about that a little bit while I pull that one up.
Yeah. And so for the 15th, hey, everything's going virtual. And we had a great event series that was rocking for about 18 months, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep. And so I say we because I ended up, joining the fold a little bit later, but it was probably like 10 months running for about 10 months before I actually joined on to help with the 3 Pride side of it. And so we're taking it virtual too, baby. We don't want to stop bringing in the educational elements. Obviously, the 5 pillars still a part of the events regardless. We don't want to stop doing that. So on the 15th, so literally the next day after Vaha, we have V3E Pride. And so we're going to be bringing to you a different experience, right? Each one of these events, though they contain similar elements, each one serves a different purpose. Okay. And so you're still going to see performers. You're still going to see art. You're still going to see poets. You're still going to see all of the things that you're used to seeing, but you're always going to see something different and find a different way to get inspired in a different way that this can connect with you and potentially connect with someone else you might know that needs to be at one of these events.
And I also want to stress that so yes, we do a lot of hip hop oriented stuff. But V3 Pride is not solely hip hop focused. V3 Pride is a platform where we allow all walks of music, all walks of talent. V3 Pride is the proving ground. You know what I'm saying? Like for people to harness their talents and get themselves right before we do things like the Open, before we have bigger events. V3 Pride is literally about you taking pride in your artistry and honing that skill, because a lot of the times we have people who are musically talented in their studio spaces and etc., but they don't have the practicality to where do they practice? Where do they practice? Open mics have been dwindling. A lot of stuff's been changing in the community, so we're making sure that we provide that platform virtually and in physical space when the time comes again. But we're also going to be launching. This is also going down as the your New Bedford launch. So,
Yes.
you definitely want to be down for that. You want to be paying attention to that. It's going to be live on Facebook. Again, hashtag art is web everywhere and in your New Bedford. You know what I'm saying? So,
And I heard there's gonna be an extra special reveal that day too. So I mean,
yeah.
I'm extra excited because I want to know what it is. All right, I need to be in there with my swimwear. You know what I mean? I need to be deep in that. So if you want to be deep in it too, show up, show out, share. All right, that's what we need people to do: show up, show out, and share.
And we'll have more details. There's going to be some more additional stuff going on. We'll be revealing this to the public soon. You're getting actually an exclusive right now. Nobody has seen this outside of us showing it here right now. So again, May 15th, 2020, 7 to 9 p.m., hosted by myself and Tyson, live on Third Eye Unlimited Facebook page. You can see right up there in the top right-hand corner, facebook.com/Third Eye Inc. We're going to have a virtual raffle and more, and it's the Your New Bedford launch. Make sure you hashtag Your New Bedford. Again, we're bringing all of those elements back in, musical performances, dance, artwork, spoken word, and more. We got Mandy, who is a wonderful artist in the community who's been holding us down. She also represents the LGBTQ network out here and all of that good stuff in the Queers Council. They're going to be doing some cool stuff in June for AHA as far as their Pride activities. So you can definitely get in touch with Mandy Frazier. But she's going to be painting live for us at that event. We got Kathy who's going to come back. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. If you've seen Kathy here battling it out with some dance moves, but she's going to be coming back with another pre-recorded visual, providing some more dance content. She's an incredible young woman working out of the Pawtucket, Rhode Island area, and she's supporting a lot of kids, and she's holding down the community in so many ways, you know what I'm saying? But again, we don't limit ourselves to these walls or borders of New Bedford. We want to bring good people in, and we want to transition good people out to show the world two sides of that traffic. My man Lindsay. So this might surprise a lot of people, but this is why we started V3 Pride, and this is why we do, content up and down the rating scale, because we're also teaching artists who don't necessarily have clean content the value of having it and bringing balance back to their music. The value of understanding that if you have the right kind of content, you can perform at, you're losing opportunities that you didn't realize, like performing at high school prep rallies and, performing at local community events. So my man Libsy, who is one of the most disrespectful bar game heavy people in the world, is actually coming out with some super dope new content for us. And it's going to be so awesome to have him come out and do some new content for us. Then we got the multilingual. I mean, this guy's ridiculous. My man Ralphie can sing in 3 different languages. It's ridiculous. So he's going to be coming out and blessing us with some of his skills. He was just in the battle recently, last Friday that we had. A lot of people actually were a part of the battles, which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
And then my man Thorn, New Bedford Zone right there. Another one, New Bedford Zone right there. Thorn, man, let me tell you something. Barmageddon over there. He's going to come out. He's going to give you some dope bars. You're going to feel something in your soul when he's done, giving you those bars. Just like my man Policy was going to come out here and do the same. Yeah. And then Jetway, my man Jet's going to come out and do another dance routine as well. Provide some more dance from the strong male side and all that good stuff. My man Adverse Reaction, who's actually a battle rapper. So again, getting people to provide quality content in a balanced manner is actually going to come over to our space and provide a super dope spoken word. And he's going to talk about his transition from, addiction and all of those things into being in the light that he's in right now, which is, he's engaged. He's been clean and sober for a long time. And he's really been up in his game as far as his talent. So he's going to come out and hold that down. And then last but certainly not least is the wonderful local Maya, who's going to bless y'all with some more of her beautiful spoken word. I mean, it's insane. If you don't know what she's about to bring, you better get your finger snaps popping now, because she's going to get it rocking on y'all, all right? So again, this is going to be all live on Facebook. You can go to thirdeyeunlimited.org pretty soon to get more info on this. Again, you're getting a sneak peek. Or you can follow Third Eye at Third Eye Unlimited, at Third Eye _Unlimited. And you can also check out, some of my work as well. You can go to I Am Still Ill or IamStillIll.com. Check out the clothing line. Shameless plug. We got a lot of stuff there. You can definitely support us during these times. You know what I'm saying? It's tough out here, but I'm glad that we got ahead of the game and had our virtual space set up. So, and then if you're looking to get yourself set up with a virtual space and all that good stuff, you're looking for some business savvy. You can definitely hit up Yellow Hat Labs. You know what I'm saying? Go to yellowhatlabs.com. Hit up my man Tyson. That's one of his endeavors as well. My man Tyson and myself, man, we do a lot. We do a lot. All of us around us, we do a lot. So we're just gonna keep that ball rocking, keep that show rocking. But again, check us out for all of this cool stuff, man. You want to add something else to that, Ty?
Yeah, no, I think you hit it out of the park. I I don't even have nothing to add. But hey, I hope to see everybody there, and always want to hear feedback.
Yes,
Straight
yes,
up.
yes, absolutely. So before we get into these topics, listen, we had some crazy battles, and it's looking like people want a whole lot. Look at this, look at this. I don't even got the right tripod up today, people. It's crazy. So we had
Your
some crazy
camera's
battles.
fucking.
Yeah, for real. And it looks like a lot of people are looking for more of that content to happen and more music content. So here's what we're thinking. Hit us up, dinnerclubpod@gmail.com. Ty, if you could throw that up in the comments, and we'll
Yeah.
have that up there for you guys. Dinnerclubpod@gmail.com. Send us some of your music. Sign up. Also, Tyson can get you, once you send that email, Tyson can send you back a sign up sheet for these events, because we're definitely looking to stick to our roots and have some more dope music events going on for all you dope people out there. This talent's coming from all over the place. I want to get involved with that, so really appreciate that. Also, you want to make sure you follow us at Dinner Club Pod, at Dinner Club Pod, at Dinner Club Pod. I'll put that one up.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure you support us, man. It's all about the support that we get from the community that helps us grow in the manner that we grow. Now, this is the People's Podcast. If you're watching this right now, you don't have to just be a viewer. You can be a person that comes on and talks to us and get some of your topics off. So this is the People's Podcast. You can tune in anytime, and you can hit us up on any of our platforms, our social media platforms. If we see your message, we'll send you over a link and we'll invite you onto the show. I mean, again, this show was created to inspire more people to engage with each other and inspire more people to celebrate each other in different lights and all different aspects. We don't care if you're a crocheter, we'll celebrate your crochet skills. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a whole lot going on right now. Really appreciate everybody who tunes in. We try to change it up. We have some music, but we want to make sure that we still get into these deep dives and these important conversations that we're having throughout the community and all the super dope things that we have going on. So again, at this time, I would ask that if you can, you can share the link out and all that good stuff. Ty, we are crossed over to you got the live today.
Yep. Yep. Wait.
Yeah, cross
New
that over if you can.
Bedford Live, and I was gonna say New Bedford Live and Cortland Live. In New York. So we're also got the content. And then I guess there's a whole live network of pages that pay attention to what's going on in their community. And Cortland Live saw it and was like, hey, I like what they're doing. Can you ask them if they want to, go ahead and pop some content over here for us to enjoy some of those topics as well, because New York is obviously going through their COVID stuff. So they need some entertainment. And so we're over there. So we're super thankful and fortunate to again be bridging the gap between New Bedford and the rest of the world, and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. And so super dope. Thank you to those virtual sponsors holding us down, man. Again, we're just looking to spread the word, and we're looking to spread love and positivity, but we're also looking to have a good time here, bring some levity back to the game. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy ourselves in an adult space. I keep telling people it's the Dinner Club Podcast. Put your kids to bed, man, and we're going to get wild in a little bit. We got some crazy topics to go in today. I'm hoping that you guys are going to enjoy some of the stuff that we go over. I'm going to let my man Tyson lead us out with some of the stuff that he wants to bring up today, and then we'll get right into it. Let's get into our normal routine.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, listen. Nowadays, you can seek and find anything you want to kind of push your biases or your beliefs forward. So we're going to go through a bunch of topics today that some people probably wish were happening when they were around, and some people are wishing aren't happening right now. So first things first, I want to talk about the NCAA is going to allow players to get paid. That's right. The NCAA, that thing that was making high schoolers decide whether or not they should take the leap now or, wait it out because they didn't want to be ineligible or they may not make it through the draft. And then they changed it. The rule, you had to be 19 in order to go in, which means you had to do at least approximately a year of college. Well, no more decisions. Now colleges want to be in the game. They say you're going to be allowed to get paid so that way you can get an education, play for the school, because you got to keep them booster clubs happy, right?
I don't think people understand how big of a deal this is, but let's talk about this though, because I saw an article asking, did LeVar Ball was LeVar Ball a catalyst to change that dynamic? What do you think?
Absolutely he was, because he was offering kids the opportunity to provide through their athletics for their families, period. And you got to think, most of these kids are playing ball. Yeah, they may love it, but there's a reason why they love it. A lot of them love it because it is their way out, their ticket out, their way to do something they can enjoy as well as provide for their family. And when you see that happening at earlier and earlier ages, is where kids are going out of the country to play basketball for Lithuania or Croatia or any of these places, they're getting a bag over there. They're getting a bag, and colleges weren't able to kind of compete with that once that exposure was given to those kids. So I definitely believe that it's due to that. LeVar Ball saying, "I'm going to pay you kids to play."
Excuse me,
and they put
them over here promoting at the same time. Y'all see,
yeah, and LeVar Ball's league was putting on some good shows. I mean, don't hold me, but some of them games were college level tenacity with NBA level tactics. You know what I mean? And definitely don't hate me, ladies out there, but it was better than the WNBA.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm just gonna throw it out. I went to the Dallas Star games when I was stationed in Texas, right? Like I went there and they did all that. These boys were balling. They were dunking. They were fast breaking. You know what I mean? Shimmy shaking people down. It was exciting to watch, especially that much talent at such a young age. Give them boys a check.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, I've been thought this should have happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that, football follows. This is because, this is only basketball right now, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, only basketball right now.
Yeah, I'm hoping football. I'm hoping lacrosse. I'm hoping all the sports follow. There's no need for you to be making billions off of these kids, and they're struggling to get lunch money. You know what I'm saying? And they're surviving on scholarship money. You know what I'm saying? So, I think this is a major move. I think it's important, especially now, to get these kids business savvy earlier, to let them establish their empires. I mean, think about, a student athlete that's able to establish their business savvy and be able to attain assets through their likeness while competing in these sports. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if LeBron didn't play in high school. I mean, in college, but what's a good college player to put out there? But imagine if Jordan,
Zion Williams.
Absolutely. Imagine if Zion could have cashed in from all that.
And he got hurt.
Yeah.
And imagine, this is the thing that people often forget, is that when these kids were taking that jump into college, a lot of them were getting hurt, who people knew were going to head to the league, and then not being able to go into the league to provide for their families. They got an education, but they lost their dream. So now at least there's that competitive drive to be like, okay, I could still make the money that I want to make playing ball in college. So I feel like this is a game changer. It's really a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's incredible, that it took this long. And I didn't like the attitude of some people who saying like, oh, these kids get a free education and da-da-da. Like, whoa, time out. The money that they gave out in the scholarship is nowhere in comparison to the money that they make off of their likeness.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, why should those kids not be shared in that? Especially if we're talking about being a progressive country in a progressive world. You know what I mean? We have to make sure that we're taking care of these kids. It's not cool to cast these kids out into the public eye, and these not even just the schools making money. The television networks are making a killing. You understand how much money is generated during March Madness, people? It's insane. You can't act like it's cool for these people to just be bagging up off these kids, man.
And you got to realize that athletics is a recruitment tool, even for students who don't play sports. That they're like, oh, I want to be able to go to good college games. I want to be able to go to a sporting event that's going to be exciting and great. And that helps when they're looking at student activities and making their decisions. That helps when you're looking for funding from your booster clubs and from donors and alumni and all that. They're able to pull in resources to keep their college at the top tier level based on athletic performances. So, and everyone can stop pretending that doesn't happen now.
Yeah, what do you guys out there think about this? You know what I'm saying? Let us know what you think about some of these topics as we go. We definitely want to know what you guys think about the student athletes getting paid now in the NCAA anyway. And I'm hoping that, again, it goes across the board to all sports. I don't give a crap if you play water polo. They better pay you, you know what I'm saying? Or allow you to get paid off of your likeness and be able to brand yourself. Like, now more than ever, branding, especially in a virtual space, is extremely vital to people's livelihoods. I mean, what kind of sucks is that they chose to do it in a time where we don't know when we're going to be able to go back outside.
Right.
But when we are able to go back outside, we should be able to enjoy the fact that these kids are going to benefit from it in a way that they never have before. I mean, I can't see anything but upside to this, except for people are branding themselves the wrong way, which I think that we need to. I also think that people don't understand the business opportunity. If this broadens the window of jobs and the ability to do PR and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, there's a
you
lot
gotta
more.
Think,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you got to think they're gonna connect with their classmates who are in school for marketing, communications, graphic design. They're gonna be like, hey, I have this idea for a brand. Now that I can make money, I want to work with this team. And then when they're able to use the player's likeness to generate income, those kids are now going to be getting paid while they're in school. So it creates a business incubator around student athletes with other students who are in their circle. I mean, it's a crazy dynamic, bro. I wish.
Listen, all I know is that I'm about to be employed by Yellow Hat Labs, and we about to be out here helping these kids make a bag. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we ain't gonna hold you at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely excited for that. Definitely excited. So I want to do a quick shout out, man. I want to say, a quick birthday shout out to the triplets, man. Shout out to the triplets, man. If you know who the triplets are, you know. If you don't, you don't. I don't release kids' names like that unless I got that permission. But we had a super dope time with the triplets over the weekend, man. And I thought it was I'm a little cynical sometimes, so I thought like the parades were a little goofy. But until it was time for me to, I had a kid that I knew, and it was time for me to do one, and I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't bad. So we had a whole line strapped to the top of the car, me and the baby's like in the sunroof. I'm driving 2 miles per hour. You know what I'm saying? I'm honking happy birthday. So, man, shout out to the triplets, man. Big deal. Big deal. Love you guys so much, man. They just turned 11. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But they know if they see and hear this, or if their mom sees and hear this. Shout out those wonderful people. But what are we going to get into next, man?
All right. So we're going from that to understanding. Now, you have armed, violent protesters in Michigan, and no protesters were harmed. None were harmed. Carrying their ARs, carrying or dressed in flak jackets, body armor, waving "tread on me," "do not tread on me" flags, waving American flags, waving Confederate flags, waving Trump banners in support. And again, I'm independent, so it doesn't matter to me. That just is what they had. Okay. And so when you see this, and we're talking about freedoms and allowances and protests, right? We always talk about, well, why is this happening at certain protests and not happening at others? Why are people getting arrested at some protests, unarmed and all that good stuff, and other people aren't? And so it's just an interesting topic for me to think about. They're fighting over not being able to get their hair cut for the past 2 weeks. They're fighting over not being able to go to the nail salon. And actually, I want to make a reference to something that Renee, shout outs to Renee. She actually sent this over to me, which I then, sent over to Peter, and we had a good chuckle. It says, Japanese internment lasted 1 year. The Holocaust lasted 4 years. The Black Plague lasted 5 years, kinda. The Great Depression lasted 10 years. American slavery lasted 246 years. You've been stuck inside for less than 2 months. Please shut the hell up about oppression.
please shut the hell up. All right, people.
Please shut the hell up. And so listen, when you put it in perspective like that, it's a grain of rice to a bag. You know what I mean? Are you really losing that grain of rice? Are you really going to look at the whole bag and say, if I lose that one grain of rice, I don't want the bag?
Well,
think about that.
What's interesting to me is when people talk about all these freedoms that we're giving up. I'm like, what freedom? All we've dealt with is people strongly suggesting that we do certain things. Like, it's just been a strong ass suggestion. Like, yes, in some states they decided that they're going to give you a ticket, but I haven't seen nobody like really locked up or anything like that. And
other than one woman asking to be arrested at the playground,
Yeah, you know what I mean?
and then cried about it, and then was like, "You're really gonna arrest me? You asked for it. I don't know what to tell you."
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't feel any pressure to, not be smart about this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you don't have to tell me twice to be smart about something that we clearly don't understand. I was just telling Tyson earlier, we had a great conversation about flu numbers and stuff like that. We'll get into that a little bit later,
Right.
because it's really strange, like how people are perceiving information, or how people are allowing information to rot their concepts of being safe. It's almost like people want to look up things that are just going to match their narrative, so they can go back outside and go about their life as regular as possible. But here's the funniest part to me, and I'm not saying all, but a lot of people that I know, what the fuck outside anyway? Like, what the fuck is this thing about? It's just that somebody said you can't go outside. Like, I don't understand.
Right.
I really don't understand what's going on with people. Like, yo, like, you can still go to Target. You know what I'm saying? You can still just wear a mask, and don't be hugging everybody you see. You know what I'm saying? You can still walk the beach. Just wear a mask and don't be hugging everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. People got to get it together. You really got to get it together. Things my mom was saying, having the Holocaust camps in Germany, I already knew with all of that. Yeah, Renee. And look, Renee had me dying. She said, "So you mean the guns didn't kill anyone?"
Yeah, no, you know what? I think only one person got butted in the head, which I found was interesting. Someone got butted by the butt of a rifle. And they still, nothing really happened to anyone there. So, shout outs to them for a violent protest that didn't end violently for them. I don't know what to do with that, but I just find it interesting, just the treatment where there's visible weapons, no one gets messed with. And so some people, I'm going to take this, some people will attribute the difference in treatment to race. I was talking the other day to my brother-in-law, and I said, you know what, maybe that's a lesson for people to understand that if you are armed, they will leave you alone to protest peacefully. Maybe that's what that means. I'm not saying try it. I'm just saying maybe that's the alternative. But let us know what you think in the comments. Why would those people not have been bothered with? And what can we do in the future to make sure that protests are no longer broken up when they are peaceful?
Tyson, you're a nice guy. Listen, privilege exists, all right? Let's stop playing games. I got plenty of white family and white people, white friends and all that shit. And I tell them, your privilege exists. Now use that shit to help us get a leg up. Period. Like, it's not not a crazy concept to understand. When you know why privilege exists here? It's gonna exist if your population is upwards of 70 to 80% one thing.
Mm-hmm.
It just creates you people don't want to be feeling comfortable about the natural order of it, but it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If I move that, so you tell me if I move to China, there is no China privilege, Chinese privilege? Like, no,
there's gonna be.
You move to Africa, there's no black privilege. Like, stop it. You know what I'm saying? It's about the numbers. It's a numbers game, realistically.
Absolutely.
And when you understand that concept, you can move accordingly.
Right. And that goes to what we talk about when we speak on what's best for the greater good, right? That sometimes when we look at the numbers, because it is, in the US predominantly white, right? That a lot of the things are going to favor them, whether it's laws and properties and things like that, because they are the greater percentage. Now, that's not saying that's a right thing as a human being, but that's saying understand that those biases are going to be in place because they're the majority. And you're like, well, I want most of the people to be okay. And it just so happens that most of the people look like me or have similarities to me. So I guess they're going to be the benefactors of the majority of the laws. So we have to step up as a society, though, and one, acknowledge it, and then two, realize, okay, can we keep this together as human beings here? If we're the US who says, bring us your huddle masses, and we pride ourselves on being this melting pot, well, we have to realize that everything and every ingredient in that pot makes the stew better. And we need to treat it like it. We need to treat it like it.
Period. If you just put salt in the meal, you just got a high sodium ass meal. You got to put a little pepper in that motherfucker, a little paprika. Get your sazon pepper. You know what I mean? Mix that shit up. You know what I'm saying? That's all we are on this planet, is a mixed up bag of fucking awesome ass people with our own awesome things to bring to the table. Is everybody a great person? Nah, son. But that's just the reality. Like, we got to stop tripping over certain shit. Like, just basic shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's not a good person.
Right.
Everybody has the potential to be, but everybody isn't. And you just got to come to terms with certain shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we got to come back to a base reality and stop putting fluff on everything that we deal with in life. You know what I mean? We got to get over the fluff phase.
Absolutely. And speaking of fluff, let's get into some substance here. Now, there's a lot of things about this pandemic that are tragic and that suck. But I have to say, the level of advancement and malleability that our government has shown at different levels is refreshing. It makes me think, why can't we operate this way more quickly? So, for instance, notarizing. We used to have to be in person with the notary. You had to have witnesses and you know, all that good stuff. Well, Massachusetts finally gets remote notaries. So for those of you out there that are wondering, because I had to look myself, because I was like, hold on, I can be a notary, right? Yeah, I could always be a notary, right? But I didn't understand the process before, nor did I care to deep dive into it, whatever. It's $60 in Massachusetts to become a notary public. $60. So if you're home right now, getting your unemployment, getting your regular check, getting your hazard pay or essential worker pay, or you're working a regular job and you're like, well, dang, I want to make some extra money and I want to come out of this pandemic with a new skill, become a notary public. $60 to be a notary public, and then you get your you can pay for your stamp kit separate, which is like there's different prices from like $70 to $170 for a stamp kit, but you can come out of this as a notary public, and you can actually notarize people's things right now from your house due to the laws that were just passed. So you can make instant use of that. And I found that interesting and thought that, wow, if our government can move like that, why aren't we doing this far more often?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You know, I always said, like, even when you go to like, okay, so I one of the concepts is paper can't be hacked. So there is that idea, but we're moving into a 5G space and in a level of encryption soon that we would have to not worry about it. And once we get there, we must move into a digital space. Sometimes it's a balance, man, because I always worry about, you know, us going down the Skynet hole, but at the same time, you know, we have to have because, you know, the concept of internet security is a flawed concept. You know, there's always a hole somewhere, but having paperwork doesn't mean that you're necessarily protected unless you got a whole bunch of paperwork everywhere. You understand what I'm saying? You know, back in the day, they used to rob banks and steal your deed out the freaking bank. You know what I'm saying? And now you don't own shit on that house because nobody can find the paperwork. You know what I mean? So, but I think it's vitally important, especially during these times, for people to understand how to utilize the virtual space. In fact, I'm actually glad in some ways that it's forcing the skill set to be more applicable. I mean, think about it. A lot of our older people in our society have had the luxury of just saying, I'm not even going to deal with the virtual space. But now they're forced in a position where if you want to connect with your family, if you want to bond, you got to learn how to use these devices. You know what I'm saying? And it's important because later on, when they're dealing with their grandchildren, there's going to be a residual effect where they still will be able to FaceTime their grandchildren that they live far away from, and they probably didn't before, and always said, you never call me. Like, well, FaceTime me. Never FaceTime me. You know what I'm saying?
You never call me, man.
So I like some of the residual effects of, like, you know, having the ability to get our society to push forward as far as what we're going to do, and using the technology that we have in front of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always complain to people. I'm like, bro, you want to send me an email, or you want to have a phone call? You just video chat me. I could screen share it and show you exactly what to do. You know what I'm saying? You ask me for mad directions and mad steps that are unneeded in 2020, son. Like, let's just start getting it together. So I like the fact that we're all kind of forced in this. And also think about the businesses that are now forced to find a virtual platform for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't cost that much to put up a virtual platform for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Depending on the complexity of what you're trying to do. Now, if you're trying to have a Facebook, that's going to cost some money. But we're talking about very simple coding to put up an online shop for your business. You know, and you should have done it before. Now, if you need help doing that, make sure you hit up my man at Yellow Hat Labs, and he's going to help you take care of that. You know what I'm saying? You can hit either one of us up. We're going to get you through the Yellow Hat Labs process and get you done in a very affordable cost. But outside of that, you should just be learning how to do that anyway. If you have a business right now that's suffering, but you have product, get yourself into a virtual space, Get your sanitation process down. Don't don't complain about Amazon. You can either sign, to be honest, you can sign up to Amazon and you can sell through them. 50% of their, people get this thing messed up. 50% of their money comes from third-party businesses.
Right.
So when you see Bezos makes X amount of billions, I get it. He's not paying taxes. I do not agree with that. But him earning capital for being the guy who innovated the game as far as e-commerce and making his money, and also providing businesses, now more than ever, those businesses needed that e-commerce site to stay afloat because they don't have the physical locations. The brick and mortar concept is obsolete right now for a lot of businesses. So we got to start changing the narrative of how we look at things and find common ground and common good in the things and the inventions that we have in front of us. You know what I'm saying? So again, get yourself into a virtual space as soon as you can. If you're a producer, if you're a music producer, there's all kinds of ways to think about this. If you're a music producer, you can teach classes, you can give a workshop. Facebook's now allowing you to have events where you can charge, and there's other pay-to-play premium, sites like YouTube has some setups and all of that stuff like that. Find a way, I'm glad that in a way we're being forced to, show our ingenuity and be innovative about how we get our bags, you know what I'm saying, virtually.
Absolutely. And now, and with all this technology, again, there's going to be goods and there's going to be bads. And then sometimes they're going to converge into a situation that's just hilarious. So we always, we kind of touch on crazy things that happen on Zoom and different things like that. Well, I want to talk a little bit about this reporter who got caught cheating on live, and it definitely wasn't social distancing, bro. Definitely was not. So we go ahead and pop this up, and then we can show the transgression on screen. All right.
Oh, you sleaze bags. Don't get
right. Wait, don't be a sleaze bag during the pandemic and get caught slipping. Okay. Don't get caught slipping.
So this reporter gets caught cheating with half dressed. Woman walks by at home live shot. Wow, son. Wow. Right there, son. Right there. Like in today's weather, it looks bare. Wow, son. Yeah.
Play the video. You got it. Yo.
We're going there. We're going there right now.
We're going there.
Let's go there, people.
Right. Dang.
Hold on 1 second. This thing is trippy because it didn't switch on this screen. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. That's why. Hold on. Let me get down to the video clip. There we go.
Alfonso Merlos. Boop. Whoa. They slowed it down.
Yeah, let me get this so I can so we can hear it, ladies and gentlemen.
And I can't flex from the video. I mean, it looks like it was a good move for him. He's a good looking guy. Like, hey, I need some company during this quarantine. Well, you picked the wrong company, bro. The wrong company.
Yeah, dude's tripping, man. I don't know what's going on. People out here, man. People gotta stop.
And it's not even STDs anymore. It's like, what if you brought back COVID to her? Like, what happens?
I don't know, man. The game is crazy.
Irresponsible.
Yeah, I don't know. The game is crazy. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm just getting this all hooked up.
And this is a lesson. Just be conscious of your surroundings and learn how to use the tech properly. Okay. I mean, he's not using it improperly. It caught him at a bad moment. He should have let her know. Should have said, hey, I'm in a meeting. Like, I'm live streaming for, the news.
Despicable. Despicable. All right. Hold on 1 second. What?
Yeah, I think that's the slow-mo sound. That's what that
is.
But
what the heck was she carrying?
It looked like, I mean, that looked like, what was it, a morning coffee? Maybe was
Yeah,
that like,
like,
is that
she just having
like
coffee,
she was just,
naked in his crib.
yeah, just coffee, but naked in the crib. You know how we do. You know how we do. Now, what's interesting about this is when asked, he's going full like bold mode on this, saying he was not in a relationship when really, apparently the woman that he's with, quote unquote, I guess his ex-wife was there with him just a week prior anyway. So I think
No.
I think my man got caught up in the middle, and he broke up with her, knowing that he was caught, and it's like we were done. We
Oh
were done.
my
We were
goodness.
separated. We were going through it, all that good stuff. So I can't wait to see how this shakes out. If right, damn.
Damn.
And
Wow.
and I don't want to be that guy either. But I did the side by side comparisons of the women that his ex and the one that's in the video. That's the side by side comparison. Yeah.
Look at this. Yo,
I like.
look at his face. Like, look at his face. He's not happy.
Yeah, he's not. Now, I like a little bit more meat, you know what I mean? Personally, but facially, I mean, she's cute. She's cute. And that tends to happen. Tends to happen. So don't let COVID get you caught up, all right? Everybody, social distancing. We're not. That's the point. All right. And keeping with the raunchy theme, it is going down in the private Zoom DMs. For those of you who also didn't know, another feature of Zoom is that your host can see your private Zoom messages to each other. Those are private messages. Private.
Gotcha. Oh,
and so
it's getting crazy out here, people.
It's getting wild. So this is another scenario where we have a student that is quote unquote left mortified when she finds out that her professor can see her private messages, and they were none too happy with seeing those private messages.
Great.
She got caught up out.
Great.
So let's
check this one.
Roll out. that beautiful bean footage. So,
man.
So let's
peep game. Dear Faith, I'm reaching out to inform you that I can see everything you write in chat discussion. My class session is not the appropriate time to be sending messages like I'm a bougie ass, ratchet ass freak bitch. I read this class, and I do not condone this kind of behavior during my classes. I strongly advise you to keep the inappropriate comments to yourself from now on, or else it will jeopardize your final grade for this course.
You getting graded on your private messages, bro. You getting graded on your private messages. You're not gonna get your degree.
Yo, my man said, yo, sending messages like I was bougie ass, ratchet ass freak bitch. And she out here with the fuck. Start making this alien shit.
She's a freak nasty. Yeah, there you go. So here we go. Oh, I just gotta say though about that reporter. That girl walked by on purpose. It's a trap. Yeah, definitely, it was a trap.
I agree with you. She was way too candid. She was way. Come on, man. She had a coffee in her hand, like, ha ha ha. You're not gonna tell your wife about me, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
And she stayed quiet. Like, come on, bro. Don't play games.
Exactly. Oh man, but yeah. So just shout outs to Zoom for being kind of the platform of choice during this time for people to do their meetings. But be conscious about how to use your Zoom appropriately, the settings and the private messages and the waiting rooms and all that stuff. Again, we went over that in the beginning when we first got back on, but just again, people pay attention, be there. So caught. All right. Now let's see. Now we want to get to the money though, right? We want to talk about the money. So there's a stimulus proposal that's on the table. All right.
Hold on. I don't even want to. We jumped over one, and I think it's important for people to talk about it because I think that we should have seen it coming. But let's talk about
it. Ooh. Okay. And so that would be what Regal Cinemas joins AMC.
Yes, sir.
So in this pandemic, I mean, and it sucks, but it's opening up a lot of doors for businesses, larger companies to kind of snap up smaller companies who were kind of, wobbly on their legs anyways. But now with them being shut down, no one's going to movie theaters. So Regal Cinemas is now joining AMC. And because of that, they will no longer be showing Universal films. So why this was interesting is kind of twofold. One, showing the openness that's happening in the business merging sectors, right? Causing businesses to merge in order to preserve their capital and selves into bigger companies. But now with more and more theaters not showing Universal films, what does that do for their box office numbers and the money that they're going to be investing in film going forward? You already have a lot of their movies and productions that are halted. So that's going to take a hit. But now even further, the stuff that you're going to put out potentially after, you don't have anywhere to show it. And so that point of leverage is either going to kill Universal in a way, or it's going to make AMC way better when Universal has to make a deal with them.
So here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I knew from Blu-ray days that this was coming.
Mm-hmm.
We watched the game speed up. Like as soon as a movie theater left the theater, sometimes it would take 6 months for the thing to hit the DVD or Blu-ray. But it had got to the point as soon as it left, it was going straight to Blu-ray and DVD.
Right.
And the time of streaming and the kind of quality surround sound systems and televisions that people have in their homes, it's honestly, in a way, sometimes a more enjoyable experience. I mean, think about when we get post-COVID times where you can have like movie parties at your crib.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can have your own theater seating. You don't got to worry about being around, who sat in his seat last and all of that goofy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Listen, pre-COVID, I was out here going to the AMC over here in Dartmouth, and I was wiping down the seats because they're all leather seats. I'm like, do you know what kind of germs stick to leather, son?
Because it's not permeable, right?
Yeah,
so it's just sitting there.
Nah, son, I be in there, squeaky, you know what I'm saying? Squeegee in the seat down and shit. I was out here Lysol way before COVID, you know what I'm saying? So I just think it was common sense that this was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once Trolls Worldwide World Tour made 100 million through digital sales alone, it's a game changer, man. When I go to the Amazon app now and I see all the movies that are in the theaters, I'm tempted. And here's the thing, they're charging a higher price point. There's a convenience charge for you being at home. Yeah. So because you can have a multitude of people watch with you know what I'm saying? You can pay one price and have a whole shitload of people watch.
Right.
Yeah, man. Like for me, for example, we do movie nights for kids, right? I can literally buy this movie for $20 or whatever, and have a movie night and charge $5 at the door or something like that as a community donation to help build the business up for doodles and stuff like that. So I think it was inevitable, and I think anybody who couldn't see that coming as far as movie theaters go, just didn't understand the way this technology is moving. You know what I'm saying? So get used to it, people. Like get used to it, especially like a post-COVID world. We don't know when things are going to simmer down. So you just got to kind of get used to what's going on. The model's changing. How we're doing business is changing. Everything was moving towards the internet anyway, and I think that COVID has pushed it further into that direction. Now, let me play conspiracy theories, right?
Ooh, okay. This is my game. I like this.
I don't think 5G is killing us, but I could think that COVID has pushed us in a space where 5G is more necessary than ever. Because let me tell you something. We just got our modem in our space at the gallery, and we got 5G on that mother. What?
Bang, bang, bang. Speed.
When you talk about instantaneous speed, the need for a better connection is more now than ever. You know what I'm saying? And when you're talking about the kind of streaming ability that we can get with this 5G modem, our business class modem in our space, you know, shout out to Third Eye for holding us down with that luxury that we have. Man, there's no comparing. There's no, you know, and I would think I could argue that, again, I'm gonna go down a conspiracy rabbit hole, that instead of 5G killing us, this could have been used to push the 5G on us, and justify its means, especially in a virtual space where you need things to be snappy. But you know, I want to mess with some people's heads. Go ahead, y'all think about that. I'm not gonna go too deep, but you know, I thought about it today and was like, what if the conspiracy? What did you say? What if the conspiracy was the what, bro?
I said, what if the conspiracy was to create conspiracies so that we would think that everything's a conspiracy, essentially? Like, that was the game plan. The government said, hey, let's create a conspiracy so that these people get all out of whack, right? And I used the sheep thing because a lot of people think that people that are taking the safety precautions are sheep, right? And so what I thought about were sheepdogs, right? In the herd of sheep. The only sheep that ends up in the clutches of the wolf is the one that doesn't stay with the herd. The rest of the herd is protected, taken care of, able to graze freely and do whatever. But that one that kind of gets lost is the one that ends up getting eaten by the wolf. And so what if that was the conspiracy to get people to go away from the herd so they could easily get picked off?
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, you're one we need to get rid of that, but
if you start to look into the actual, like, because, you know, I like to look into the root of things. You know, some things go into our lexicon and then we don't look up the root of these things. And I went back and I decided to look up when conspiracy theory came into existence. And lo and behold, you'll find out that the CIA, of all places, my man Remy Rose just said that, you know what I'm saying, created the concept of conspiracy theories to throw you off from reality. You understand what I'm saying? But here's the kicker. Like my man said, and I thought about it earlier, like, what happens when the conspiracy becomes the theory of conspiracy to conspire about conspiracies?
Conspiracies. Right. It's a conundrum, right? There is a conspiracy, but it's never the conspiracy you think it is, because think about it. If you believe them to be that smart and that on top of it and this diabolical, you think they're going to slip up so you could find it? Or do you think they're going to create something that you think you found it so that way you're off the scent?
Especially in this information age, bro, it's easy to throw you off. Look at. If you want to test how well conspiracies or theories are working, and you know, conspiracies versus conspiracy theory, they're two different things, right? But if you want to test how well the effectiveness of each side is working, this infodemic that we're in during this pandemic is a perfect. People can't even discern whether or not this virus is real or not, and that's a problem. That, to me, that, like my man said, more distractions. And to me, that is more control over us than anything else. To be able to make us not be able to discern reality is true control over the masses. You understand what I'm saying? Especially when you've mastered it so well that you use our biases against us, and then you provide content, subjective content, to all the flavors for everybody to be more divided than ever. And we can't come to a general consensus on a virus. Right. And it's so deep that it's even in the medical establishment. Doctors are divided. When you look at medical professionals divided about a virus, what are the facts? It's crazy out here.
And that's, I mean, and that's where it gets to the point where you have to almost take, well, what is the thing that I can do during this that would cause me the least amount of harm if their plan is to harm me? So what do you do with that? Like, if they're so let's take this for instance. People were saying that they wanted you to stand 6 feet apart so that they could get facial recognition on you. Now, but wearing masks would make it hard to get that facial recognition on you.
Let me stop you there. Let's just get into this facial recognition shit. Do you have a Facebook? Your face is recognized, son. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, get off, yo, bro. We are too far down the hole for people to be trying to consider facial recognition now. Like, it's over. It's over. It's over. Your face is logged in someone's shit. It's over. Zuckerberg got all y'all grills, okay? Okay? And the fact that people even trust their cell phones, like your dick pics are in someone's server.
He's here on a company server.
You deleted it or not, bro. Listen, there is literally software where you can get on, like you can get onto a phone, like an old phone. Mm-hmm. You can find an old phone. Everything's been deleted. You know that delete all shit? It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. There is software where you can literally recover everything. I've gotten people's phones. They was like, yo, I need you to help me recover something. And I got to ask them, how far down this rabbit hole do you want to go, sir?
Right.
Because I'm going to see everything.
Mm-hmm.
Inadvertently, the process brings back everything.
Yep.
Some people go there, and man, I'm telling you, like this, some shit out here, you know what I mean? I'm like, yo, bro, I saw your pinky. I saw your pinky, dog. I don't know about all that, you know what I'm saying? Yo, there be pinkies out here. Some niggas got the thumb, you know what I mean? It's like it's girthy, but it's just a thumb, you know what I'm saying?
Some people got fingernails. Some people got fingernails out here. You was like, oh, poor little tink tink. Poor little tink tink don't know what to do.
Oh, nigga, don't get me started on the murder hornets. We're gonna touch on that later. You stay tuned.
Yep.
We got actually. Yep. I like that you segue us into that one because we're gonna get into it.
Go for it?
Let's go for it. Let's go for it. He brought it up. Let's go for it.
The Deadly Hornets. Woo!
Let me
the Deadly Hornets. So, that's a lot. Yep. The Deadly Hornets killed 42 in China.
Son.
Deadly Hornets killed 42 people in China. I'm telling you. You just tell me China getting hit with everything? China just getting hit with.
Yo, first off, can I tell y'all a phobia that I have before we get into this? I'm hoping that this shit ain't even in here. Can I tell y'all a phobia I have? I can't deal with any pictures that shows the direct face of any bug. Nigga. I ain't with the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like when they show you the mandibles and shit, I'm like, nah, son. No.
That's too close.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids fucked me up. When they had the ants go like, I was like, nigga, no. Even though the ant ended up being their friend and all that, that's bullshit. The ant's gonna eat you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's that movie shit. But
you're a delicate morsel.
Listen, deadly giant hornets killed 42 people in China. They are now over here. I think, like, listen, I don't want to sound like xenophobic, you know what I'm saying? So this is just in light of comedy. This is comedy, people, what I'm about to say. Can we just fucking saran wrap China? Like, what the fuck is going on over there? Like, saran wrap that whole shit.
Until we figure it out. Let's just put a dome. Let's just dome it up, okay?
Yo, listen, we got giant niggas are called murder hornets. Let me if anybody from Boston is in this feed, you know that Mass Ave was called the Hornets, and they called themselves the Murder Hornets. So the irony of this shit for me is just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yo.
Yeah, Earth is deaf sick of all of us. Earth is sick of all of us. Who created these?
Throw the whole human race away.
Who created those killer giant bugs? Jesus.
You're right. Jesus.
Son, bubble wrap all of China. I can't do this shit. I don't even know how the fuck they've been getting around all these years, okay? Hornets have killed dozens of people in China and injured more than 1,500 with their powerful venomous stings. The Asian giant hornet, known scientifically as the Vespa mandarini. What the? No, that shit sounds. A Vespa, some shit you ride, ain't it? Like, God damn. I'm not with the shits, people.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, my man. Wu-Tang Killer Bees. Listen, they're killing bees. The giant hornet grabs a bee and pops its fucking head off, rolls its thorax into a meatball, and then brings it back to its larvae to feed. Fuck this.
Yep.
Fuck this.
Yeah.
We're not even like, yo, I'm from the city, son. I see a roach, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? It took me a minute to get used to the shit in my yard now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, what the fuck is that? They're like trying to cut the grass and shit, some shit slithering. I'm like, oh. You know, jujitsu in the yard. I just got used to that shit. And now you telling me about some. Listen, I accidentally, when I was cleaning the yard, found a yellow jacket hive that was like deep in the. Man, listen, I was out there, stop, dropping, and rolling. That shit was crazy. You understand what I'm saying? But these hornets are 2 inches long. 2 inches. 2 inches. They said that in a matter of hours, an hour at in some cases, that it can completely destroy a beehive. So if you're wondering what's happening off with bees, it's the murder hornets, nigga. Oh my god. Oh my god. Listen, I can't do this. I can't do this. Since July of last year.
Jesus.
Well, hornets attacks have killed 42 people and injured 1,675 people in 3 cities of the Shaanxi province. I'm going to think that's Shaanxi. According to the local government, among those attacked, 206 are receiving treatments in the hospital, son. What the fuck is going on? I just want to know, who fucked with the Jumanji board?
Right.
Who did it? Which one of y'all fucked with the Jumanji board? This is real life Jumanji shit.
Straight up.
Yo.
Straight up. Oh my goodness.
The Asian giant hornet, which is the largest hornet species in the world, looks like the wasp analog of a pit bull. On guard, with a face that looks like you just can't reason with it. On guard.
You just can't reason with it.
Like, nah, there's no negotiations here. We're just gonna kill you. We need the bees, man. So we gotta pick, man. We gotta get rid of these hornets, son. You know what I'm saying? We gotta have hornet hunters. I saw a nigga holding one. That shit was literally like in his hand, like big ass dead. I ain't doing it. Nah, I'm not with it.
Nope.
Yo, wasn't we just dealing with some like bugs that was like burrowing out the trees from Asia too?
I wouldn't be surprised.
The beetle, it was a beetle. It was a certain kind of beetle.
Yes, I do remember the beetle. Yeah.
Saran wrap, again, this is just for comedy people. Saran wrap, China. Saran wrap that whole shit. Okay? These niggas got months. I thought Africa had some crazy shit. You're talking about some super ass beetles flying around and just imagine getting taken out by a goddamn hornet. Imagine all the ways I watched almost every episode of 1,000 Ways to Die. The niggas wasn't on it.
Right.
What the hell's going on?
Yo, Charlotte need to pack it up. Charlotte Hornets my ass.
Yeah,
get out of here.
We need to change that logo and everything. I'm not doing that shit.
Nope. Throw the whole team away.
The giant hornet extends to about 3.5 to 3.9 centimeters. That's 1.4 inches to 1.5 inches. Roughly the size of a human thumb. What?
Yeah, no. We're not doing that.
Black tooth used for burrowing, according to animal database from the University of Michigan. The queen is even bigger, with bodies that can grow longer than 5 centimeters, 2 inches. The species feed their young, the larvae of other insects, and use their mandibles to sever the limbs and heads of their prey. The giant hornets are attracted to human sweat, alcohol, sweet flavors and smells. All right, we're dead. I can't get a donut.
Yeah.
I can't get a fucking bottle of Henny, and I can't sweat. We're dead.
And listen, wait, this is for all of the natural people out there too. I want you to think about this. When you're using all those fruits and coconut oils and and you sweat profusely because you're not using antiperspirant, they love you. They are loving you.
Remy, I saw a goddamn cicada when I first moved into this house.
Yep.
That big ass motherfucker landed on my window. When I say I went outside, it's the middle of the summer. I was fully suited up, had a hoodie on, my glasses, something over my face. Pre-COVID, I had a big ass, the fly swatters that zap. I had one of those in a bat, and that nigga still won. Still won. I was he was so big you can hear him. Like,
cicadas are mad loud. They're mad loud.
Mad big, bro. And this shit don't even sting you. So imagine a hornet. A hornet. Bro. Now listen,
peppermint.
Let's recap. We got Lyme disease from the ticks. Oh my god. We got triple leaf from the mosquitoes. We got giant ass bugs.
Mm-hmm.
We got the fucking beetles from Asia burrowing out the trees and shit, killing the trees. I can't do this, man. I can't do this.
There was a swarm of locusts. Oh my god.
Somebody gotta stop. Oh yeah, the swarm of locusts in Africa.
Yep.
I can't do none of this. Like, this shit is getting out of hand. It's getting creepy out here, people. And shit like this is why I'm not. Y'all piss somebody off. Y'all piss the universe off. And y'all still please just chill? Because, like, Earth is pissed off. Like, this reminds me of, like, the Will Smith movie, After Earth. Like, this shit literally is evolving in a way. Bro, we're dead. We're dead. This shit is evolving to get rid of us. Like, bro, can you understand that some monkeys now have evolved to the point that they use tools. They use tools.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's only a matter of time before you're walking down the street and you get shot by a fucking gorilla. I'm just saying.
Right. It was like, I told you I wanted more bananas.
Oh, I know, bro. I got mad pepper spray. It helps with spiders.
Zookeepers need to be scared.
Listen, these hornets can sting you
Zookeeper.
through beekeeper suits. Yeah, the earth is purging.
Oh, hell no.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
The earth is purging.
They said them suits ain't for us.
What is the human impact? Over the summer and early fall, hornets have invaded schools full of children and descended upon unsuspecting farm workers in China. One of them is Mu Kongyi, I don't know how to get it, who was attacked in Ankang City while looking after a millet crop. The hornets were horrifying. The Chinese said, "Where the fuck did they come from?" Like,
yo, they descended.
Where did they come from? I want to know the history on them. CIA is definitely in Hollywood, brother. They've been in Hollywood. They've been helping write scripts and all of that. Some of the first founding people that was a part of the script writing process came from out of the CIA. Where the fuck did these hornets come from? What is the history? Like, they're talking about them like they just popped up. Influx of venom body. The influx of venom to the human body can cause allergic reaction and multiple organ failure, leading to death.
Yeah.
Whoa. Patients like Mu have been receiving dialysis to remove the toxins from his body. No. Look at that thing in his hand, son. No. I'm not with the shits at all.
Nope.
No, I'm out of here. I can't even. Why? Okay, here we go. Why so many attacks now? The spate of attacks will be caused by unusually dry weather in the area, authorities say, and the arid environment makes it easier for hornets to breed. Urbanization could also be a contributing factor as humans move into hornet habitats. Come on, fam. Stop encroaching on all this shit, man.
Yep.
And China, that's the thing too. Like, China is rapidly expanding. They're one of the fastest growing nations in the world, and they're mowing shit down over there. They got super cities that are ghost cities over there. Look it up. And they're rapidly expanding, and that exposes us to more viruses, to more possibility of dealing with things like fucking giant hornets trying to attack us. And I just don't understand how the giant hornets go from not being found to being over here. Like, it's like they discovered humans and was like, oh, okay, so let's just fly around the world and find more of these niggas to kill. I'm good. I'm good.
They look good. Let's do this.
I can't do this. Nah, I'm not with this. How to protect yourself. People run into trouble with these hornets from a nest, a basketball-shaped nest that looks like it's made of gray paper, sometimes under an eave. Okay, Smith said, if you disturb one of these or happen to whack a tree that has a nest in it, the hornets may respond as if they're under. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
No.
They can't discern accidents either. Oh God.
No, I'm not with the shit. Humans can get themselves in danger by reacting poorly to these large hornets. If you see a nest to hide, just avoid it. Wait. Let me get this straight. So there's some of you motherfuckers out there that hit the nest, then you see the hornets, you be like, what's up, bro?
Right, exactly. Come at me, bro.
Come on, y'all got me
Come at me, bro.
Nah, dog. Come at me, bro.
Come at me, son. What?
Nah, son. I don't play. The two things that's happening right now, I do not play with. If it's another human being, if y'all told me battlefield or place or location to fight some humans, whatever, let's get busy. Bugs and viruses. No, nigga, I don't.
Can't really fight them.
I would literally go on a Rambo mission before you could trap me in a room with a tarantula. I literally mapped this shit out of my head. What people ask me, what would you do with if you got locked in a room with a tarantula? I would literally knock myself the fuck out because I don't even want to know what happens. I don't even want to know what happens. I don't want to know what happens. I don't want to know. Like, nigga, the terror of me is not enough.
Yeah. We're gonna come right back, start cam. Okay, whole different camera setup here. We got a whole different setup here, people. So yeah, I'm knocking myself out. Like, there's no way I'm not. Like, there's no way I'm sitting around and I'm just gonna get ate up by some random ass stuff. Like, it's just not happening.
And that is the best part right there, where it says, "Don't don't flap or scream or freak out. Just
Yeah.
calmly walk away."
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay,
Oh,
all right.
okay. Calmly walk away from these big
That's it.
ass, thumb-sized bugs that if
Yep.
I hit a nest, so it ain't one of them, it's a whole bunch of them trying to eat me. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I can't do it.
And I'm just supposed to stroll off.
Nope. Too much pressure, people.
But oh my
Well,
god.
let's get into
Oh,
the next one, man, because I feel I
too
just got sick.
much.
I just got sick. I can't do this. I don't even feel good right
Yes. So, oh gosh, good God. And now, so let's dive into something about the outdoors. All right, I'm gonna hop in the categories a little bit since we were talking about outside and bugs and things like that.
now.
Something that interests me about what's going on is comprehension is key, right? It's okay to have your conspiracy theories or alternative thoughts when you don't know why something is happening, but we can't let biases go so far that we ignore literal context. And so I want to talk a little bit about something that was brought to my attention about what Mayor de Blasio said regarding sun and fresh air. And someone said that he was saying sun and fresh air are bad. So I want to play a little bit of a game with people in the comments with context clues. Okay. And so I'm going to read that to you guys once we get that brought up and see what you guys take what he's saying as.
Let me find that one. Oh God, so much craziness going on, people. I can't even begin to understand the madness.
And it's going to be kind of a group think. These next two things are kind of like a group think. So everyone just kind of comment what you're getting from what we're reading. Okay.
I don't see that link.
It is number 16.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
We like to have these things set up nice and smooth for you lovely people out there. You know, and we work hard to make sure we provide quality content for the people.
Exactly.
For the peoples.
For the people.
All right. Y'all, if y'all noticed, I had a backup cam. Like, they ain't playing on
right. Exactly. He said double down.
It's like cha-cha-cha with a whole new mic. Sounds a whole new wave right now. All right, let's get into this one real quick.
So,
let's look for these context clues, people.
So I'm gonna read first what the person wrote who posted this. It said, it said more non-logical right here, folks. More non-logic right here, folks. Sun and fresh air are a threat to our health. Bunch of emoji faces. You've got to be kidding me. I beg and pray for the world to see how upside down the establishment's views are on matters of health and wellness have become. This weekend is a perfect opportunity for us to resist the insanity and improve our health. These are things our immune systems crave the most: vitamin D and fresh air, connecting with the natural world of which we are a part. Why do we think people get sick more often in the winter? Because we are lacking these essential basics while cooped up inside. NYC and everyone, keep facts over fear. Get outside, stay outside. Hashtag resist, hashtag wake up, hashtag learn about immune health and truth. Link to the article and study to counter this bull in comments. So now what this person highlighted in that is this. It says, Hisner said the forecasted highs of 70 degrees Saturday and Sunday present a danger of cooped up New York City residents. If New York City residents venture outside without masks, crowd public spaces, and ignore social distancing measures meant to stop the spread of coronavirus. Then highlighted, it says, the nice weather is very much a threat to us, de Blasio said on WNYC Friday. What that person didn't highlight, what I'm going to continue reading, is there's nothing wrong with going out and getting some exercise and getting back home, he added. Go out for a little bit, but don't go out for too much. Don't gather. Don't try and do the things we normally do on a beautiful spring day. De Blasio said the NYPD, along with hundreds of other city employees assigned to task this week, will be out in full force to ensure people are wearing masks and adhering to social distancing rules. They will break up crowds, gatherings, and smaller groups of people if they aren't spaced at least 6 feet away from others who aren't in their households. So, in the comments, I would like people to tell me, what did you hear where Mayor de Blasio said that sunlight and fresh air is bad? Like, if you did, I just want to know. I want to know, honestly. Do you know? Because it looks like he said, go out and enjoy, but please still observe social distancing and wear your mask, right? Get your vitamin D, get your fresh air, but please do it a safe distance from each other and from people who aren't in your household. That's what I got out of it.
People, this is not slavery. We are not oppressed. Like, this shit is getting out of hand. It's getting completely out of hand. And it's like, it's hard to even like try to like reason with people who don't understand the complexities of the freedoms that are lost in other countries.
Right.
Versus you being an American and living in a first world country where
we're not doing female castration, right?
Yeah, none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't, our food supply chain is still working. We're still, you know, drinking reasonably lead-free water.
Reasonably.
Don't get me started on that fluoride shit in your peanut butter.
Right, exactly.
At the end of the day, man, we just gotta start being smarter about how we're dealing with each other and how we're, you know, discerning this information, because I don't understand. You know, this is why I would say reading comprehension is important, because I didn't get none of what that person just said. Like, none of it. None of it.
He did say the weather is dangerous, but then he gave exactly why it was dangerous. And it wasn't the sunlight and the nice weather that was dangerous. It was the fact that people will get outside and forget about the precautions because they're so caught up in the nice weather and doing what they normally do when it's a nice day in New York, that they will put themselves at further risk for spread. That's what I got out of it. And that's where I said, just remember, go do what you're going to do, but please just keep the precautions in order. Even if you think they're stupid, what does it harm you to do that? Like, it doesn't hurt you to not be 2 feet away from the person next to you, right? They're not saying don't get close to people in your household, right? They said as long as, hey, are they in your household? Okay, you guys can be grouped up because you're grouped up anyways. But if you're not from that household, 6 feet apart, you can still talk from that distance. You know what I mean? You can still smile. You know, you can still smile and wave, all that.
Yo, like, listen, man.
You know, we were in the line and we saw people 6 feet away having conversations, right?
What's interesting to me is all the people that laughed at Trump saying that he was calling this a hoax are now calling it a hoax. I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. I'm fucking confused, son. Like, honestly, I'd rather err on the side of caution always. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't need to know too much in order to combat a virus other than mask up, glove up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even the gloves, to a degree, I've been with, because I keep a lot of sanitizer with me. But even when I got, you know, a mask, like, you know, I don't know if you guys seen pictures of me and Tyson earlier, but like, we're out here with respirator masks. Like, this is not a game. Like, I'm not dealing with, because, like, I mean, I heard someone actually say, wait for this, that, well, having masks on our faces poison ourselves because we're breathing back in carbon monoxide.
Think about that. I want you guys to think about what we actually expel from our mouths. Is it carbon monoxide?
Carbon monoxide is what they said.
Is it carbon monoxide? Is that? I'm not the periodic table of elements. You know what I mean? No, I'm not that. But last I checked, trees give us oxygen because they need CO2, and we happen to breathe out CO2. And I heard di means 2 and mono is 1. So carbon dioxide is what we give out. Carbon monoxide would be waste and fumes from ethanol use in our cars.
I keep trying to figure out, like, all these, like, bro, y'all are tripping that hard to go to where? Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. I still, like, my wife likes Target, right? All right. So, like, she, you know, she's pregnant, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not advising her to be out. She doesn't need to be. But if you do decide that she gets like that shopping therapy type deal that she wants to go through or whatever, okay, cool, baby. Let's suit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to go. We won't be, you know, you see somebody, you know, you best give them the head nod, the international, see you later, motherfucker, and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? And then here's the kicker. Like, there's a whole easy process to this, right? Let's say you see somebody in the store that you know, and you can't go up to him, but you want to talk to him. Guess what you can do? You can call them on your phone,
Woo!
chat them while you walk around the store, and now you're in the same space socializing through your phone and in proximity to each other without having to defy that 6 feet.
Right.
Fucking simple logic and common sense, but whatever. We don't do that anymore. We don't do that anymore.
Right.
Man, that's
And
not
then,
what we do.
and then wait, and you brought up a good point. Oh, that terrible Target, those terrible Walmarts, they're open still. But you know what aren't open? Small businesses, and that must mean that they're against us, right? So now I got to bring this up because there's a woman who
Hold on. Before you go, let me jump on my man Remy over here. He's
okay. Go ahead.
Comment go. He says farts go through your jeans, coughs don't go through cloth.
We talk about that. Oh my goodness.
Bro. They actually did a study in Australia to find out because COVID's in fecal matter.
Mm-hmm.
So it is believed that you can actually be infected from COVID by someone's farting.
Catching the poots, man.
Don't catch. Think about if you caught some shit from somebody via a fart.
You know how mad I would be,
bro. And you see all these videos on YouTube and stuff like that. People playing around, they be farting each other's face and shit like that. Yeah, no, this puts a whole different meaning to that ball right there. A whole different.
I'm mad.
I'm super mad. Okay, don't fart
hit me
around
twice.
me and proximity. Nothing.
You hit me twice. You hit me twice. What an asshole.
Yo, bro, I'm not with the shit. But go ahead. You was gonna go on to the next topic.
No. And so now you brought up, there's some target therapy going on and stuff like that. Well, there's a mother or woman. I'm just making the assumption she has kids. Don't shoot me. That is asking why she can't sell her kids clothes, but Walmart and all these other big businesses can. And essentially, like, this is a ploy to make big businesses richer and small businesses poorer. And so in the comments below, I would like people to tell me what reasons they think why, because this is what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to comprehension and discernment. We're giving you information, but we want you to process it. So why could anyone think of one, maybe two reasons why this woman who sells only kids' clothes would not be able to have her store open for people to visit, but Walmart or Target, who also sell kids' clothes, would be able to have theirs open? Just I'll give it a minute to breathe while we get that pulled up. So think about
it. This is the world, bro.
And you know what's even better? It's a consignment store. So I want you to think how she gets her clothes. They come from other people. They're not just manufactured, cleaned, and then put on the shelves. Her clothes come from other people, from their houses, right? And we don't know exactly how they may have been caring for them prior. So just think about
Renee's on point right now. Renee's on point, as usual.
Oh, because there are grocery stores too.
Because they sell us. Oh no! Wait, what? They sell essential items, and they just
wait a minute. Wow, that's interesting. Oh man, jeez. Because I was wondering why Starbucks is closed, but Green Bean's open. No Problemos is open. Greasy Luck is open. They're all small businesses, but Starbucks is closed right now. Think about that.
So does this also stop her from being able to sell online or no?
Ooh, ding, 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 ding. No, it doesn't.
If you have a loyal customer base, get yourself online. They'll buy your product.
Thank you. So this is an important lesson to people in business and economics who were ill-prepared to service people who weren't directly in their proximity. Now's the time to get your ass online. Now's the time to hustle your butt off and get to a customer market that you normally wouldn't hit, who didn't know you exist. And even though, consignment, I made the joke about you don't know what people are doing with their clothes at home, but think about this. There's a whole consumer market who's never seen probably some of her one-of-a-kind pieces who are like, I never thought I would be able to find bell-bottom jeans with Minions stitched on them. And you're the only source that they could find those jeans at. And now you can upcharge for that, for shipping and hazard and all that stuff. There's an opportunity here for small businesses to cake up, right now and service people that are using their stimulus money, that are using their additional CARES Act money, that are getting their essential worker pay increased and now have a little bit of extra money to burn and get some want items that they couldn't get because they were too focused on their needs before. This is a perfect opportunity where this lady, instead of complaining, she could have went and solved a problem by saying, you know what? I'm going to go take pictures of all of my stuff and I'm going to upload on Shopify or Big Cartel. If you don't know how to build a website, you can use either one of those to kind of quickly set up something makeshift. If you're not good at coding, if you want to code those, you can also do that as well. But it's there. If you are a business to sell your items online, you don't have to have your store open in order to still make sales. I know Calico still has their online shop popping and it's still selling items and they sell clothes, right? So think about that. So instead of complaining about how this is unfair to small businesses and big businesses, and this is a ploy to poison the American people and realize that healthy restaurants are open just as much as McDonald's and Burger King are. Health food, Tropical Cafe, Juice Cafe. What's the other one? Farm Coast Market. Like they're all still open and they're relatively healthy food, right? So it's not a ploy. It's just some businesses don't fall into the correct category to accomplish these things in person. So think.
You know, I'm like, I mean, I think I gave up on society before all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, not completely. Obviously, we still try to do our part and help the community and et cetera, et cetera. But overall, like, I'm not shocked by any of this shit anymore. You know, I kind of like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't understand like the varying degrees of people not being able to process and adjust the situations. And I think because I've always had to do that, that I've learned to do, you know, I've learned to accept that, you know, everybody's not as resourceful as they need to be.
Right.
And if this was actually all I've learned in this time is that if this was actually like a true, let's say we're not dealing with a pandemic that has, you know, anywhere from a 1% to a 5% death rate. Let's say we're dealing with, you know, an actual, you know, like alien invasion or some shit. I've already said this before. Like, I'm joining them. Like, there's no fucking question. Like at this point, like just let me get my list. You know what I'm saying? Or let me like be the chancellor guy that gets to pick. Like, yeah, this nigga's cool. He can come with us.
Yeah, he's all right. Come on.
But this lady right here, she ain't playing no games.
Out of here.
But most of them know, like this, like if you can't reason on how to, especially in a virtual age, convert yourself into a space and be able to provide. Yo, let me tell you something. You don't even have to open a Shopify. Let me tell you what you could do. Let me give you a little trick, right? You can have a Cash App. You can have your shipping set up. You can literally post your products on your personal page with descriptions and have them send you a message with the address and everything else like you would do a processing order and have them Cash App you the bread and send your product out. There's ways around this shit. Like, step your fucking game up. My man Ty's getting a little choppy there. All right, what are we getting into next?
Bong. Up. Oh, sorry. There's offer up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's offer up. There's Facebook Marketplace. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of other options. Your signal's a little choppy on your end, brother. Oh, there we go. So yeah, there's plenty of other options. There's plenty of alternatives. You know what I'm saying? You got to start literally not seeing a box ever. You know what I'm saying? And just always thinking. Forget a box. Just keep thinking. You know what I'm saying? The box doesn't exist. You know, the limits you set on yourself are the limitations you're going to have in life. And you got to learn to work around those limitations. You know what I'm saying? You absolutely do. So again, you know, it doesn't cost that much in this age to get a nice templated website up to get your business going. It's just, come on, man. Like, seriously, like, step it up, man. Especially like when I see somebody and I don't think that they're that old. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what the fuck is your problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, convert your space. You know what I'm saying? Like, I converted my store, you know, IamStillIll.com to a virtual space a while ago. I still keep hard product, you know what I'm saying, to have a hand-to-hand and socialize with people. Because, you know, I don't always I want people to feel the fabric and when I'm in that space, but when I'm not, the virtual platform works great. You know what I'm saying? Like, actually, I'm gonna do a shameless plug. Like, if you want to support the cause, you can absolutely, visit the website and check out, some of the product. And also you can see, like, again, I'm just showing you another example of how you can actually get it out there and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? For all these people that tuned in and stuff like that, you can support the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're practicing what you preach.
Yep.
Simple.
Doing it right now. See how easy this is? I can complain or I can adapt. And that's what evolution's all about. It's still in place, people. And get your merch, this merch, from IamStillIll.com. Wow, that was hard. Hold on, let me just make sure. Check this out, people. So, like, right, I hit enter. Holy crap.
Oh.
Wait, it gets even better. I put it up on the screen. This is amazing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying, and I really don't want to pick on anybody, but one of the greatest lessons I ever learned in life was from this guy named Rick Mashab. I was working at Berklee College of Music, running all of these public safety departments and all this other stuff. I was a senior manager for them. And this guy taught me invaluable lessons. And one of the most important things he taught me, and I hold this true to this day, is there's two things you never underestimate in people: greed and stupidity. Don't assume just because people have a proper vernacular that they're smart, because reason is different from vocabulary. Reason is different from all other aspects of things that you're dealing with, especially when it comes to terms of survival. So you can have somebody who's well-read and well-writ, but can't survive shit.
Right.
So which one is more important? It's a balance between the two, but I'd rather be able to survive than to be able to fucking try to finesse somebody out of a conversation while they got a big ass axe in my head. You understand what I'm saying? So, just be smarter about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, find a way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just find a way. You know what I mean? You have to find a way. Like, we're talking about, we're not out fucking running around hunting fucking beast out of the forest. You know what I'm saying? So, like, let's put this shit in a reality here. Let's put this shit in some perspective. Like, we're not going back to hunter gatherer. We're just converting shit to a virtual space. Be glad. This is a time to be appreciative that you even have the internet. Imagine if this shit happened, no internet. You know what I'm saying? Imagine this is 1918 and people had to close down all their shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was harder for them than it is for us right now because we have other means. So, just be smart. You know what I'm saying? Just be smart, man. And try to focus on, solutions, not problems. You know what I mean? Like, that changed my life in a massive way by just recalibrating my brain to focus on solutions, being solution oriented. But let's go into the next one, man. What else you got for me, Ty?
And these two kind of go hand in hand. So I want to talk about Joseph Aboud distributing 50,000 masks throughout New Bedford. Okay. To vulnerable residents. So 50,000 masks. You got to think, in a population of about 100,000, a little, that's enough to take care of about half of the population who would need masks. And that came just slightly before the announcement that we have a mask advisory in Massachusetts, right? A lot of people were complaining about, well, if they're going to make us wear masks, then they should be providing them. Well, here you go. Joseph Aboud answered the call, as well as there's Bonnie Borrell, for NB Masks. She's making masks. And so there's a lot of options out there, but wearing masks in public. Now people are saying they're going to rebel. They're not going to do it. That wearing a mask is a form of showing your compliance and that you're okay being oppressed. So I just, want to know why, like, why? Why?
I've given up asking why. Just let natural selection do its fucking job. Like, a while ago, I stopped giving my opinion on my personal pages on what I think people should do, and I'm just gonna let their process run its course. Now, people who are in my proximity or people who I associate with, if I absolutely think I need to step in and be like, "Yo, you probably shouldn't lick that railing," you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna help you out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't lick the railing.
But overall, Like, I'm gonna let this shit run its course, people. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing my best to provide these platforms and educate as I can, and I hope that you understand I'm trying to have some levity about this shit. But one thing I've accepted in life is that, especially when you're in the field of working in the community, is that you have to accept the burden that you're not going to be able to save everybody. You're just going to have to be able to accept who you can change and help in your lifetime, because sometimes those people that you couldn't save will weigh heavier on you. But if you got anything from this, like, don't lick no railings and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, just chill out with the rail licking and shit. But yeah, man, I'm just letting people, run into the fucking wall, dog. Like, how, like, when the road runner or some shit and he paints like the fucking tunnel on the wall and the coyote hits that shit with the TNT rocket. That's what I'm letting people do. Fuck it. Like, hit the wall, bro. I can't do that about it. But again, shout out Joseph Abud for donation of 50,000 masks, man. That's incredible, especially for this area. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a big deal, man. It's definitely
and I do want to say that the mask advisory is effective at Wednesday, May 6th. Okay. Governor Baker issued an order requiring face masks or cloth face coverings in public places where social distancing is not possible. This applies to both indoor and outdoor spaces. Exceptions include children under the age of 2 and those unable to wear masks or face coverings due to medical conditions. So this Wednesday is when it starts, folks. So, get your mask and protect someone and yourself.
So listen. Damn, we was ahead of the game, son. We were so ahead of the game. Like, yo, I remember, like, we got masks before anybody told people to get masks, right? So imagine being out here with respirator mask on with filters. Let me tell you something. Like, we was talking about, like, if you fart and shit and you can still smell a fart through the mask. Well, guess what? Somebody's cough can get through the mask, right? I literally can go into a perfume section of a store and have the respirator mask that I have on and walk through that motherfucker and not smell a thing but clean, fresh air. You understand what I'm saying? I've walked in the house and my wife was cooking and I was happening to be taking off my mask because I didn't smell it when I first got in. And that food hit me like, oh, yes. Yes.
Din din time.
You know what I'm saying? Din din. I turned into a caveman when my wife was cooking. You know what I'm saying? I cook too, but, I ain't got them powers. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. So again, like, just listen, let me give you a little tidbit. If you're in the New Bedford area, I'm gonna just throw you this alley. You know what I'm saying? I told you I wasn't gonna care if you run into the wall, but at least I'll throw you one solid alley. The Ace Hardware on Dartmouth Street over in Dartmouth. If you go straight down Dartmouth Street from New Bedford straight into Dartmouth, you will hit the Ace Hardware. They still have the respirator mask with filters. They even have disposable ones, but you can reuse those as well. And they even have like the Michael Jordan mask. They got the ones with the respirator and the filter and the whole full face guard. You understand what I'm saying? They have cool flow ones, so when you breathe, you can get a nice cool flow. And they have regular ones, and they still have them in stock. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are not privy to that. All of their staff members are in the store wearing them, and they've had masks since the beginning. Since I first walked in there and we got our masks early in the game to now, and somehow they're replenishing. I don't know if they got like hoarded them in the back of some shit, but they still got them. And they're not price gouging. It's still a regular price.
Right.
Go get your mask. Go get your respirator mask. I can tell you right now that I literally get looks. I remember in the beginning, I got looks of this dude's paranoid. Now that the mask is so relevant, I literally get looks of envy. I have people walking up to me like I got a new car or some shit. Like, yo, you got the mask, bro.
You're right.
Real mask. I'm like, yeah.
Out here with the Lambo.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying?
Yo. And so look at okay, that's interesting. I completely agree with you both. And this is from Yolanda Cavecchio.
Thank you so much for watching, Yolanda.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree with you both on why fight some of the boundaries, and I really think people just like to latch on to chaos. At the same time, I wonder if our government was historically more trustworthy, would there be the same pushback?
Yo, let me tell you a law of life. You can go by the laws of the government and you can go by the laws of life. Trust is something you got to earn. In all regards. I don't trust shit. You gotta, you're not trustworthy until you prove it to me. So whether it be a government official, a mayor, the only thing I can trust in this lifetime is people's actions. What do they do and what do they don't do? So that's, I don't care who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be Trump, and if you do some positive shit and all you did was positive shit that I felt like was the positive things to do, then I can deem you trustworthy to some regard. But even then, I'm married. I love my wife. It's naive to trust anything 100%. Anything, anyone, anything. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust nothing 100%. Not even myself. Most people can't trust themselves because we have impulses and biases and subconscious biases. So I think a large part of this is understanding that if you always keep at least that 10% of not trusting shit, you will still have that 90% of you that will vet things. You know what I'm saying? Like vet everything.
So I guess even in this, if you take the scenario at that value and say, if they were historically more trustworthy, would there be the same pushback? I don't think there would be the same pushback, but I do think that even with them being untrustworthy in the past, we have to use our skills of discernment in thinking, is it better to do this and not be hurt? Or is it better to resist and get the potential of harm? Right. If they said, hey, drink a glass of water a day, and I'm like, wait, why are you telling me to drink a glass of water a day? But you realize the glass of water wouldn't hurt you if you drank it, but you risk dehydration if you don't. Like, you can kind of go, you know what? I don't know why you're telling me to do this, but I know it fights dehydration, so I may as well drink up, and I'm going to watch you, though, over this glass. That's what we got to kind of do in these situations is, if you think it's going to be facial recognition, put the mask on, right? Hide your face. Foil. You just foiled the plot.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know what I mean? If you think this is going to be population control and they're trying to kill off the population, well, it can't work if you aren't spreading the virus. So disinfect and don't cough on people. That foils their plan. Like every conspiracy that's coming out, the plan gets foiled if you follow what they're saying to do. So it's interesting that some people still have that pushback with that if doing what they say would foil the plan that you say they have.
It's confusing to say it's population control and then they tell you to wear a mask. Like if it's population control, I'm not going to tell you shit.
Right. I'm just going to let it kill people.
Let you die. I'm just going to be like, there's a mysterious virus going around and we don't know even how it's contracted. You're just dropping.
Exactly.
Dropping, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't know anything. We don't know what's going on. They're just dropping, man. Like, should we wear a mask and gloves? Nah, I think you should just breathe. You know what I mean? Like,
you're right. And you may as well just call it severe pneumonia. Why even tell anyone it's a novel virus? Just be like, people are dying from a very severe pneumonia.
I want to say,
don't even tell them it's something.
If people keep saying it's population control and our population is estimated to be about 10 billion by 2023, I believe it was, they're doing a shitty job at population control. These motherfuckers should be fired.
And here's the thing. I look at population control and I think about the history of China, right? The one child rule or getting rid of multiple children. I'm like, there have been governments that have no problem displaying when it's population control.
Oh, absolutely. Like yeah, exactly. There's nothing to hide. Like you just can't have these kids.
Right. They will literally and they actually kill children. You know what I mean? Like, so just be more logical, people. That's all.
Listen,
discern.
Man, we have to understand that this information age is disarming us in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? If you allow it to. So don't be, I don't buy into anything 100%. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I like to still apply the scientific. There are some key things that we learned in life, and then we just do away with them because they say, where are we going to use this in life? The scientific method, if you just take the scientific word out and just use method, and if you use that line of thinking to test your theories and, because everything is a theory, but you have to go through the scientific method to make it a fact, to give it proof, to give it validation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is true with everything. When we try to find validations in religions, whether they be differing, we try to find validations in each other. And we have to go through that process, that same process of, testing your hypothesis to get all the way down to your conclusion. You understand what I'm saying? You have to experiment. I love my wife more than anything, you can ever imagine, you know what I'm saying? Aside from my children, you understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, and I'm saying this only to just draw on the point of trust. does she not talk shit to her friends if she's mad at me? Like, I can't trust her not to talk shit to her friends. You know what I'm saying? She can't trust me not to call Tyson. So trust varies. Trust is malleable. It depends on what you're talking about. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And the only thing that you should trust is that trust is malleable. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the situation. It depends on what we're talking about. We'd like to give each other false senses of security, and we live in an age where the information that we ingest is giving us false senses of security and doubling down on many of our biases. Like I said, there's a Ben and Jerry's flavor for whatever conspiracy or bias that you want to have on the internet. Right. It's up to you to start, challenge yourself. Sometimes people scroll past the headlines that they think is not going to match their bias. And I tend to click those. Those because maybe I might run into some information. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe I might run into some information that I can not only read, but test. You know what I'm saying? Like test. It's like when we talked about this 5G thing, and I was trying to tell people, like my man worked in telecom. I have a Cisco networking certificate, and we understand telecom very well. You understand what I'm saying? So, if you're not testing it, but you're believing because the eyes lie, you know what I'm saying? Especially on YouTube, you know what I mean? I can get a rigged RF meter and make it seem like it's registering high numbers on, you don't even know what an RF meter is. You just see something that hits red and you're like, look, they just showed me, you know what I'm saying? Like people are conning you, people are getting money and paid off all of this content that they're conning you with. So be careful, think twice. I'm still a practicer of thinking twice. You know what I mean? Like, maybe this isn't real, or let me ask one more question and look a little bit deeper into it. You know what I'm saying? And at the absolute maximum I'm going to do is make sure that I deep dive into the theory and test it myself. Like that's the absolute maximum. If the information is not suitable for you and you're like, I'm not a scientist, well, learn how to do the science of this one thing that you're looking into. You know what I'm saying? Buy a fucking what's the shit they looking through at the lab?
A microscope?
Yeah, I was about to say a telescope. See, y'all was about to laugh at me, right? Don't fucking you don't know what kind of day I had. Buy a microscope, you know what I'm saying? And kind of discern, diseases from this, that, and the fourth. When's the last time all these Facebook scientists actually looked in a fucking microscope, you dicks? Anyway.
Right. Exactly.
I just sipped this good old cup. You know what I'm saying? I just sipped this good old tea right here. I'm like,
there you go. There you go.
But anyway, we've hit about the 2 hour and 6 minute mark. We had a couple of other topics for you guys, but we're going to save those and hold them over for you. Make sure you tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We got a lot of dope stuff coming on. Some Fridays will be occupied by our community endeavors, but guess what? You're not going to miss an episode because we're going to stream those to you live from those events, and you'll be able to enjoy those events right here on the Dinner Club podcast platform, along with all the other platforms that they'll be streaming from as well. We got a lot of dope things coming on. Really appreciate all the people that tuned in today. We had a lot of reactions. Some new people came out. You know what I'm saying? So we always appreciate the new love. Make sure you follow at Dinner Club Pod, at Dinner Club Pod, at Dinner Club Pod. Please make sure you follow and like and comment and share the page. You know what I'm saying? It's important that we keep pushing this. And I just can't stress enough, think twice about everything. Do your due diligence. Be calm. One thing me and Tyson were talking about today when we had to go out to Ace Hardware, social distance, and that while we were doing it was the fact that there seems to be a calmness restoring into our society. As far as when people are going to the stores, there was like a tension in the air when I first was going to the grocery store to do anything. And now it seems like people are starting to get calm and it's starting to become, understood that this is what we have to do to get through, and keep each other safe and keep our family safe and, just keep our neighbors safe. So just be calm during these times. Don't allow it's easy for your mind to slip into your fear. So don't allow everything to feed your fears. It's also easy for your mind to give into its comfort. So don't allow your comfort to be, too much either. Just stay balanced. You know what I'm saying? That's my word of advice. Other than that, you can't, at least hear that advice. Fuck it. I'm the road runner, painting the wall, get your rockets. Coyotes, fuck it. Ty, you can, do your 1, 2, whatever you want to talk about. Yep. Get up out of here.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining us, and as always, this was food for thought, and no matter what you eat, just clean your plate. Peace.
I got drive like Uber, on the road like the runner bee. These coyotes can't catch up with me. Got these heads blowing like TNT. I got drive like Uber. Yeah, all these lions in this pride with me, hunting on the daily cause the dream ain't free. Gotta get it now, time to wait for me. I got drive like Uber.